So, hello everyone. Welcome to the final UQRUG of the year. This is supposed to be a special one where we're going to have a little bit of a competition. We've got at least 4 entrants, actually. So now that David is here, yeah, I don't think we've got any new people here, but I'll always do it. This is the UQRUG website. You can get to it by, if you Google UQRUG, it's generally above UQ Rugby. But otherwise, here it is. You can, just go to uqrug.netlify.app. I do encourage as many people as you can to go to it because I just copied with the laptop that's in front of me and then tried to paste on this screen. There you go. You can get to the UQRUG website there, and from there you can get to our hedge doc. So the hedge doc contains sort of all of our ways of working, and it's where we can go to add our names for the list of people who are here today. Now, I need to do a bit of quick editing to remove the ones from last week, so bear with me while I do that. I won't get you to put your names on just yet. I might do that in the background while we have some presentations, but so we're going to skip the process of the ways of working slightly. So generally, we will have people add their names to the page, but don't do that just yet. I'll just edit that in a moment. Add your questions to the page. Again, don't do that just yet. We'll do that in a moment. And what we'll do is we'll jump into our intro to an R package. So what we do there is where we have an overview of a particular R package. And today, instead of doing that, we're having our cool but useless R code competition. And we'll see what everyone has played with today. I'm keen to see what you've come up with. I kind of just riffed on something that I made last time. I didn't have the time to make the thing that I wanted to make. I wanted to plug AI into R and have it generate something that does some analytics, but I ran into a few speed bumps along the way, as well as having end of year reports to write. So that never happened. So what I'll do is I might just clean up the page so that people can start adding their questions, because I know that definitely Tamara has a question to add to the page.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's a stats question, and Lauren is a stats person, and I won't throw you
pressure.
I won't throw you completely under the bus.
No pressure, Lauren.
No pressure at all. It's just, hopefully you might have insights. Maybe you won't, but that's okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, maybe you'll be able to point people in the right direction, because that's what I end up doing half the time anyway. All right, so in the background, I am rapidly cleaning up the names. So if everyone could, all right, if everyone could go to the hedge doc, so you can get to that again by going to the UQRUG website and then going to the hedge doc. Scroll down the. It's not updated. Okay, scroll down the page and add your name there. So to do that, what I want you to do is click the little blue pencil button here. And then that should allow you to either view, edit the code, or view a split screen of both code and text. As always, this is Markdown. You can add titles with hashes. You can add links this way. If you want more details on how to do Markdown, there is details at the end of the document, but I can also walk you through it if you need.
If you do an asterisk.
But if you scroll down to the attendees, you'll see that we can see that Lauren is currently adding a name here. See, my name is already there at the top. And you can add your name by putting it in between some bars. So, typing in those bars that you get just above the enter key. For me, it's shift \. And put your name, where you're from, and what brings you here today in between each of those bars, and you'll see it creates this table on the right. Markdown tables, not very pretty, not the nicest things in the world.
Yes.
But you can see it makes quite a nice output. So go ahead and put your name in there. Thank you everyone who's doing that so far. Oh, cool. We've got some more people joining in as well. That's great to see. It was good to see you at ResBaz. Do you prefer Anne or Anne-Claire?
Anne-Claire.
Anne-Claire.
Yeah.
Good to see you at ResBus. Good to see you here again. But yeah, feel free to pop your details in here. You don't have to, but it's good to know who's attending today and also what brings you here. Cool. All right, so today, well, we actually are going to dive into our intro to an R package, but of course, today's special intro to an R package is the competition. As far as I know, we have 4 entrants, unless there's some people hiding online that happen to create anything. Did anyone online create some cool but useless code?
Like I created a few codes, but I guess they are very normal codes. But I love doing markdowns. I honestly, I would highly recommend everyone to learn, because when you send that to your supervisors, they will really get impressed by it. So that would be my 2 cents.
What are you recommending?
Doing the markdown.
Oh, markdown, right, to make things look pretty.
Yeah.
Well, today, I don't know who we're going to start with, but today's presentation of code should be code that is not. I mean, it could impress people, but that's not the. I guess the intention is to impress people, isn't it? Really, but it's supposed to be cool code that's kind of useless. Yeah. So I didn't have time to elaborate upon the stuff that I created last time. I did a little bit, had intentions to do more, but it kind of didn't quite work, and I didn't have the time to put into troubleshoot it further. Do any of you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? How are we feeling? We can.
You know, you want us to go. I'm always willing to go first.
Oh, David.
Should have written some code to make like a randomizer or something.
Yeah.
That would have been extremely appropriate.
So I can do it in Python in like 15 seconds if you want. You want a randomizer?
That feels very inappropriate. If you use reticulate to make it happen. So this should create a random number generator. We'll see if it works. So no. Can I just create a very simple data frame from that? No. I create a very simple. See, this is a good example of some cool uses. So if I then go sample and go data, will that just every time I run that give a different order? Yeah, look at that. Is that actually doing it randomly? Yes. That's just randomly being placed last every time. Cool. So there is some cool but useless code. That's my submission for today. Hopefully I win. Okay. So here we've made a list of names, and then we use the R function sample, which randomly samples and permutates data. So it just takes a sample of it. You can get it to choose specific bits and pieces, but at default, it will just randomly reorder things. So that was a lot less complicated than what I initially tried to start doing, but there you go. So if you ever need to run a competition where you choose who goes first, we'll run the code and this will be the order, all right? David, you're up first.
All right, sharing screen.
Right.
I've totally forgotten my glasses.
All right, so David has created some sort of random circles.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us about what you've created here today?
So what you've got, the first part, as you can see, creates a blank canvas.
Can you zoom in a little?
How do I zoom?
Control plus.
Control plus.
I think you have to click on the
This part?
and then do it.
No, Control Shift plus would help too.
It should just be control plus.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Gotta wait for response. That big enough?
Yeah, that looks good on my screen.
With axes. Yes. So because there's two mice on the screen.
Yeah.
If you just look at your screen and we'll all look up here.
You are still using the hedgehog.
Yeah.
Is that me?
No, that was me. Don't worry about that.
I'm gonna mess up.
So
Yes, I've created a plot, basic plot. It's absolutely empty. The only thing it's got in there is the fact that it's got x-axes and y-axes from 0 to 1 just to give it scale. We created a function that will generate a random color, red, green, or blue, with several runners there. And we'll draw random circles within those random colors. So up to 50 circles there on the X and the Y if it's falling within the scales. And had to put in this here, admittedly, and I do admit to cheating, using ChatGPT to help me this because it wouldn't work. And basically it said I had to ensure that the radius is a single numeric value. So it gave me these options putting in. And when you randomize these circles, I've already created a blank canvas, but that doesn't matter. Basically, every time you run it, you get a different layout.
I love that.
Yeah, it looks like Smarties.
It does.
it'll give you
And-
different colors in different random locations.
Exactly. And now I have to own up. I have failed the brief because Cameron pointed out that this would be really useful as a physics demonstration. So it's cool, but not quite useless.
Well, I mean,
Useless if you don't know physics though.
Yeah, exactly.
I think for the application that you've given us, it's perfectly useless.
Yeah.
So I think you've done well.
Except for pretty colors.
Pretty colors.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone's seen through the trick that I'm playing here. The point is to get you to play and learn stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry,
I've been
Cameron.
fooled.
I've tricked you into learning
Education.
yeah, because like I like playing.
Yeah.
And when you code, it's a good opportunity to play, but usually it's work. And so it takes on a very different vibe and you learn it differently. If you have to do this thing, you're like, oh no, I have to make a linear model, then all you're going to be able to do is do linear models and you're not really going to understand the language. But as soon as you get the opportunity to play, hopefully you'll find new and weird and different things that then could probably help you with other things. So if at any point you do need to make that particle simulator, David, I guess you can do so.
And that's what happens when you increase your scale without changing anything else. It's not just about setting the scale, you've got to set it all up correctly.
Yeah, because you're picking random numbers between 0 and 1, right?
Yeah, your X and Y. So if you made that
Yes.
bigger, would that change it? The in the X and the Y
And
then?
this part, yeah. Select everything again. Now that
No, because I think you've said 10 numbers between 0 and 1.
Oh,
rather
okay.
than
but that's
like
okay.
you'll need a different. That'll
Right.
probably be the next
Different way to play that.
parameter.
I'll change it somewhere along the line.
Well,
Anyway.
if you multiply it by 10, it'll work. So
This
you
one
multiply that by 10.
times 10.
Sure.
If you just go Control A, you can highlight everything.
Well, learning new things.
Nice.
Cameron and his math.
Cool.
Okay, hold on, what was why didn't writing it in there work the first time?
So that function RUnif
Yeah,
is gonna, every time you run it, it gives you a number between 0 and 1 randomly. And the number inside the brackets is how many you want. Not what's the maximum, like the uniform distribution goes from 0 to 1.
yeah,
So when you say RUnif 1, like give me one number.
okay.
RUnif 10 gives you 10 numbers, but they're all between 0 and 1.
I just love the pronunciation. Uniform,
Yeah.
Runif.
I always thought it was Runif, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, is it right?
I don't know.
It's unif for uniform.
Yeah.
But I
That's
don't know about the
probably
R.
true. I just
Yeah,
always read
I
it
also
as
read
Runif.
If you change that 0.2 to say 1, will that change the size of the circle potentials?
But hold on, aren't those circles all the same, or they just so similar in size that I can't?
That's what I want to
Oh,
see.
okay.
So you make that 1 or 2, what
Yeah.
happens?
I'll make it a 1, Control A.
Yeah, they
Everyone
should all be
reads the
different.
side relief.
I think they're the same.
They
But
look the same size.
can you make one
I'm not
like
sure.
really big? Can you make one like 5?
I was gonna make it 100, but
But that would take over the whole
Because
thing.
0.005 should be the min and 5 should be the max.
Well,
Let's
if that's how that, I mean, I don't know how our unit works.
Radius and circles equals.
additional radius is a single numeric value. So
Maybe it's just using the first value and it's just discarding the rest. Make the 1 a 5 and see if it. No.
Control Z, David.
If you make the
Alright.
R unit, if you make the first one a 5.
Oh, yeah.
I love that we're helping David with his useless code.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
No, this is
This is
this
experimentation.
is way better than working on code because it makes me less
Ooh,
stressed.
gone now.
Well-
Well, that's because that's made 5 radii.
Yeah, that one has to be 1.
Uh,
It does say it's the min and the max.
Well,
What?
let me do this.
is it like
I'll
maybe
take that
the
out.
maybe the
What's on?
0.05 is the size of the border?
Oh, true. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But then what is the last number? 'Cause
So
there were
with
3.
our unit, it'd be how many? The min and the max.
What's that inches in symbols? 0.15
Wait, what?
Inches.
in symbols.
Oh, yeah.
You change that number.
I just don't understand what the last number is changing for the radius function.
We're supposed to be changing the maximum of the distribution. There you go.
Whoa.
Inches is your radius. The radius one is not changing the radius of the balls.
So this is the size of them.
So
So
you're
if you
using
make that into radius, if you change inches to radius.
So change
So
the
ju- or
inches.
just
Keep
after,
that.
no, sorry,
Change
so
the-
and just type in radius.
I'll type in
Yeah,
radius.
radius. Okay, that should work. That should work.
So do we need that line of code that says radius?
If you want them all to be different,
Humongous.
maybe.
That would be a good like wallpaper generator.
So it is working, it's just some of these are now 5 inches inside.
What was this
size?
number originally?
I think
I
0.15.
need to look at your
Zero
GitHub.
point-
Oh, 0.2, yeah.
2.2.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, and then that'll make them all 0.15 inches.
There you go.
Nice.
That's
Different
quite cool.
size balls.
We've made it even cooler. Still just as useless. So what was that radius doing before? It's circles. What is
Well,
circles?
this one here.
What is circles? So circles is a vector giving the radii of the circles.
Okay, cool. So that's the, yeah.
But maybe it gets overwritten when you use inches.
Try changing inches to false. Inches equals false.
I was gonna say centimeters.
Do you need it all caps?
Yeah, you're gonna have to change caps. Yeah, false has to be a
All caps.
How much am I learning? Idiot.
No.
Caps lock.
For those at home, you can also just do an F. Yeah, okay, so inches was overriding what
Yeah.
circles was doing,
Yeah.
and now it's
Yeah.
no longer in inches,
Yeah.
it's now in probably pixels,
Well, also, I reckon
maybe?
I reckon
Or
it,
whatever that scale is.
I reckon inches is circles is probably more suited for getting variables, whereas inches is more suited for kind of just specifying a constant value. And it just so happens that when we specify an array that's the right size, it ended up working.
Yeah, I'm looking at the help menu for symbols, you can go true, false, or positive number for inches.
Yeah. They don't expect you to pass it a different value for each thing.
Your radius changes every time I put in the values.
Yes, because it's random.
Through, yeah, it'll run through 50 times, changing it every single time.
I'm showing you the last one.
Showing it, yeah. So if you hit like F1 on symbols or on run if, that will then open up the help menu, and that's what I've been doing on my end.
We'll have a bit of randomizing.
Yeah, if you press F1 Might be function F1 depending on your computer. Oh, yeah. So yeah, you can see that circles and inches by default is true. So we set it to false, so it was no longer drawing it in inches. But circles just gives you the radii.
It kind of reminds me of the like universal slideshow thing. I don't know if you've seen it. It's just like random pixels, and then the theory is because it's just like it keeps generating itself that you could theoretically get any image that's ever been taken on that
This is what we were
ratio.
talking
So
about.
it's a monkey at a typewriter.
Yeah,
That's what we were talking about.
So it would, at some point, sometime, a
Yeah.
picture will appear
yeah,
eventually.
In theory,
yeah. Except most of the time it's just like static.
has the
yeah.
picture ever appeared though?
I think for some people probably, not for me. Sometimes I just put it on my monitor while I'm studying.
Because this is kind of, I was talking to David about this before. It's kind of what he's showing. It's a statistical mechanics, but this is kind of,
And Cameron was saying that eventually at some point,
well,
plot would create or may statistically create a perfect grid of dots.
but the likelihood of that is so low. Like that's anyway.
Yeah.
There's physics in
Yeah,
it. Like that's
but that's to say, it's,
Yeah.
it's the same concept. But
Yeah.
what the thing is that we kind of rely on it not happening.
Yeah.
And Lauren, sorry, that's called a universal or the universal slideshow.
Yeah, it's on Babel Image Archives and it's called the Universal Slideshow.
Okay, cool.
Can you put that in the
I
Zoom
will,
chat?
yes. I'll put the link.
So for those at home who didn't see that, this is what David receives for submitting his cool but useless code. This is a button badge with the UQRUG logo on it. So thank you, David.
Oh, thank you very much. Go. That's why I entered. I really want to.
All right, I can see some extra people have joined in since we started. If anyone online does have something to submit, please let us know because I'll put you in the randomizer maybe. Anyway, who's next? Oh, me. Okay, cool. All right, I'm next. So as I was saying before, not a lot of time to make my thing, so I riffed a little bit on what I'd done previously.
This is what you did at ResBus.
Yeah, so I'm just going to, I may or may not have made this code this morning.
I thought yours was the sample submission because that was great.
Like on the previous rug page.
Yeah.
That is what Nick did.
Yeah, but you know, let's do
Oh.
something different for
He did
today.
the last one.
No, the one where he generated our names.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's useful though.
yeah,
It's true.
evidently how to
Yeah.
use it.
It's true.
All right,
We actually used it.
I will share my
That is true, yes. By the very definition.
and I'm going to.
So disqualified. 'cause-
That's right, out of the room.
Okay, so last month, I showed you our sound font, which is like a sound library, and I just made it play a little bit of stuff. What I wanted to further do on top of this was to turn that into I wanted to make it into a Shiny app, but the Shiny app was not being cooperative, so I just made it into a bit of R code. So sound font, you run it, and then what you do, I'm trying to think of how I'm gonna make this happen without getting some epic reverb happening. I'm gonna mute that one and something like that. But anyway, poorly chosen topic in my opinion. Basically what I do is I load in sound font, load in the sound library. I attach that sound library into R. And what I've done here is the way that it works is that you have to create a sample from the music library and then it'll play it. So for example, if you wanted to play so it creates that, and if you wanted to play, say, the first sound in the library, you would run that line of code. Now, no one can hear it because my speakers are muted. And if I unmute them, then there'll be the reverb. So I'm going to be very quiet and then playing. I don't know if you heard that online. It's not a very impressive sound. Maybe I choose a different number. Let's go with like 78. And they're going to be very quiet. Oh, I'm sorry. Shouldn't pick random numbers from a music generator. Anyway, so the way that this works is I've set this up to, instead of just playing one sound at a time, I've set up a for loop that will play a sound from a list that you generate, sleep for 45 seconds, and then play the next sound. So again, gonna mute. Sorry about the potential reverb. Let's see what happens. So it seems that 1, 2, 3, 4 organ sounds. So again, apologies for the bad choice.
Hey, I play the organ. I actually do.
It's great.
No, it's okay.
The MIDI sounds.
Play the MIDI.
Yeah.
So what I could do is if we just look at SF, we can see a long list of all the different sounds that are available. Bunch of banjo sounds, mandolin. What do we think that might be? I don't know what that is.
Well,
What is?
And Claire has it.
What are you looking at?
So 39. So if I play sound number 39, see what that is.
I reckon it's
Cello or something like that. So the next thing I did is I created a slightly different version where instead of just a list of sounds, it's a list of numbers plus break times, so system sleep. So this is a matrix that has, shouldn't have 3 columns, should just have 2, right? No, 3. Anyway, so 2 rows, 3 columns. First row is those ones. So you'll have to update that number based on the number of things in there. But anyway, I'm going to change it from 1 to 3 because that sound was just a little bit too harsh coming through the MIDI sounds. Let's go with the mandolin. I'm going to add a 1 to all of those numbers. $15, $17, $18.
do you need
Not a comma. I'm going to unmute. Cool. So that you can customize exactly how much time happens between each thing and create a very complicated MIDI device. And so you can see this next line of code is that I haven't actually played this because I was doing this in a meeting where I was supposed to be paying attention to. I'm going to cut that bit out so that my manager doesn't see that, but that's fine. All right, I'm going to be quiet again, and we're going to see. I hope you can hear this online. Can people hear this online? Are you just watching us all laugh at nothing? Anyway, all right, I'm going to mute myself.
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear. Wonderful.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to mute myself, and then we'll go.
That's what we would like to see.
So you're playing 3 blind mice at first.
It was hot cross buns.
It was what? Hot cross
Hot cross
buns.
buns.
Not anymore. You're cold now.
So that's my
So good it killed that.
I couldn't handle the heat.
no worries, Claire. You can still send through a vote, I guess, potentially for who you think should win from today based on what you've seen. But thanks for coming. Okay. Yes, so that was my code. Now I can't remember who was next in the list. I'm pretty sure it was you, Lauren. Oh no, my code's still running. That I had a different R session going. So I think what happened there is I had overloaded my RStudio with too many sounds trying to play at the same time. That caused it to crash.
That when the sound is longer than,
Yeah, because the sound is
time you
still,
give it to
those
play.
sounds are still technically playing, so I think it's starting to overlap on itself and crash. So, yeah, that's my submission for the competition. I will throw over to Lauren.
A challenge for anyone if they choose to accept it is to get the Close Encounters music.
Well, mine also is music one.
Oh,
It's not as sophisticated in terms of the sounds that you can play. But it is very useless. Oh wait, you can't. Just gonna miss. I wonder if I do. I'm trying to do a split screen. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It is useless in the fact that it is a Rickroll.
oh my gosh.
Rickroll.
Oh,
So, the only reason ggplot was in there was because I was trying to make a plot of like the notes in there, but then I kind of gave up on that. So you don't really need ggplot in there.
you can use Bg image to put a picture of Rick Astley in there
Oh, I should have. Damn.
next time.
Anyway, basically, I just have it's in 4/4, so it's just like these are the values that it plays for. And then I've got the sample rate that my computer's on and the tempo that it is. And these are like the notes, and I just went through the sheet music basically and found the notes. I was going to make it so that I didn't have to put the sharps in for the key signature, but then I thought that would get a bit complicated and I didn't really have time. So yeah, I basically just did that. And then hopefully it plays.
Let's hear it.
I'm glad I didn't have to follow this,
Yeah, I was just thinking you got to follow this, Cameron.
especially given the fact that this is just like a much better version.
I know, this is like
What?
next but better. See if it doesn't crash.
It's true, yeah.
It hasn't crashed usually, but we'll see. If I play it on my computer, will it?
Oh, it is. Love
Yeah,
it.
so that was my entry.
Very.
That's
Oh
so
my
good.
goodness, that is so much dedication. I am so impressed.
Especially following my terrible banjo hot cross buns.
You're never gonna give you up.
Crash. So how does so you just put in the notes there?
Yeah, so I was using that audio library, which is just like a beep. I don't think you can change the tone, like the instrument or whatever.
Sine wave.
And then yeah, it is a sine wave. So if you go down to here, these are all the time that the notes play for.
That's the hard part, hey?
Yeah, so I've got them up here into like I put that
Oh
there
my
to
God.
remind myself those are like what the notes are called in sheet music.
Yeah.
And
And
are
then-
those the usual durations of those notes?
Yeah, well, in that time
4/4,
signature,
right.
yeah.
Whatever your tempo is. Though.
Yeah, so then I made a data frame from I started doing the chorus, but then I couldn't be bothered. I made a data frame from like each bar line and each line of code. And then I combined the two data frames of the like duration and the pitch. And then made that into like like down here it makes it into a sine wave basically, and then I just did all that to make it not give me errors. And then yeah, I just played around with it, and then I just had to make sure that this was the bit that confused me because I had to check. I didn't know that my computer was on a different sample rate to what I saw I saw an example of it and then tried to make it into Never Gonna Give You Up. But I didn't know that my computer was in a different sample rate to what whoever was doing it before did. So it took me so long to figure out that I actually had to go into my settings, figure out what it was.
Right. So how does it go from the notes that you have up there to actually being the sound? I can't actually see where that's happening.
So I've got, this is like the frequency, and it's because I've got these numbers up here that have like the note values, and then I've got the sample rate in here, and then this bit of code just like permutates it. I don't know
So
if
it
that's the
translates
right-
it from
from yeah, from the
numbers,
letters
to
to the actual
value.
frequency value in like hertz, I think
yeah.
is the frequency measuring.
Yeah.
So that's this, and then this part here is just like making it so that the sharp made it go up a semitone and the flat made it go down a semitone. And then from that, I made a function that makes the frequency and the duration interlink. And then I made a sine wave out of that with the tempo set at like, that's just making it so that it's the tempo and then 60 per, like that's 60 seconds because it's like the tempo per minute. So yeah.
So so can I see your notes again? At the top?
Yeah.
So you're,
That's awesome.
yeah, right. So you basically going up by,
All right, see you next time.
Hi, Christina.
See ya.
what do you do, like? to
Oh,
go-
so the reason they're not evenly spaced is because like, I don't know if you have any music
Oh, yeah, you got the
background.
sharps and flats, right?
Well, yeah, but on a keyboard. So the reason why like between A and B there's two is because there's two flats between A and B, or two sharps, whatever. There's two black keys between A and B basically. And then like B and C are only one apart because there's no black key between them. So that's how I figured out the spacing, was I basically brought my laptop to my piano and I was like,
Yeah.
this is one away, this
That's
is
cool.
two away.
And then so you've got say 440 hertz for A, right? I think you said, I saw somewhere.
the,
440.
so the
440, there it is.
that's the like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for you to get,
I basically
Like-
just Googled what the frequency was
Yeah.
of like the center octave of a
Yeah.
piano.
yeah, oh, I see, you've got the.
And
frequency,
then
makes sense. Yeah,
that was
got it.
what I,
Yes,
like,
That
that
makes
was the function that it came out with.
yep, no, that makes sense, that's what they do.
Yeah. So that's me,
So I have learned that music and maths go together.
always,
That's right.
yeah.
So my total non-music capability also comes down to my very poor math skills.
Me too.
Well, I'm not that great at maths, to be honest, but I'm okay at music, so
Well,
You're gonna
would
do
say
it, you
otherwise.
think you can,
probably not.
do it, it's great. I reckon.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very,
Very, very deserving of the badge.
yeah.
Have you got your badge, Nick?
Oh yeah, I should give myself a badge. So this is a badge for you, Lauren.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. All right. Up next is Cameron. Well, up
Hey.
last, unless we get some surprise latecomers.
All right. I will share my screen. Okay. So I didn't go with the music route I wasn't inspired by Nick's music as much as I like it and as cool as the organ is. But I am I did see
Some memes.
your ggdogs in there.
Yeah.
I was actually, the ggdogs is a late edition right at the end.
Oh,
I actually saw the previous session before that was on parallelization. I thought, wow,
uh-huh.
or way before that. I thought,
I'm
wow,
not seeing the
That's
connection
real.
here.
that's I can really get into that. And so, look, I'm just gonna run it all because it takes a bit of time. So we're gonna run it and talk through it while it runs. Oh, please.
I feel like this
please
is
work.
half a chance of crashing R as well.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so essentially it's like parallelization is using all your cores as much as you can and to try and optimize things, right? And part of I was looking into it is actually quite simple in R, right? And then when you do it normally though, you apply a function and there's built in, it allocates which core is going to be using it next. So it's not every core going like this. it optimizes to make it as efficient as possible, right? But I'm not doing that. So what I've decided to do is race my cores against each other. So we've got a race. I've got 8 cores here. The code, I actually can't quite remember how it all works, but we'll get through it. I have a function which times it. So basically this function is what each core runs. And the function is count down from, I think that's 1,000,000 down to 0. And it just runs this while loop, right? So each core is counting down from 1,000,000 to 0, subtracting as it goes.
So you're just killing your computer.
As fast as it can. And then this just times how long that takes. Okay? And then it outputs that time. And so then I run, you can ignore all of this, but I run it, I run it 20 times and each time it counts down from 1,000,000 and each core gets like how long it took. And that's one of the 20 steps. And they run 20 steps basically. And then I make use of ggdogs and ggplot and gganimate to actually create a race. When I first did it, it was running at like 7 frames per second and it took like 20 seconds. And now, even though I've closed everything, it's 1.4 frames per second. Still another 2 minutes to go.
So is this
So now it's making the race.
this is just the making the race, this is.
So it's all
not
done, the
counting
cores
at
are done, the
25.
cores are like instant. The race is instant, it's just rendering into an animation.
So this rendering where it's
Okay.
got that thing down, where's that loading bar generated? Is that
That's
just GG animates?
GG animates thing. So it takes a lot, and the thing is, I can't even parallelize this to make it quicker. So it's
Ironic.
it's not.
Yeah.
So
Can you scroll to the end of that? Like, what else is in that animate? Okay, that's just what it creates,
so
right?
this is the renderer. It's just giving me some specs on the timing of it.
And GIFSKI is another package.
GIFSKI is the renderer. So that is, I actually have no idea how it works, but it turns an animate thing into a GIF. Because you could turn it into something else that's not a GIF.
Right.
But I haven't looked into that. Here we go. We're getting there.
Pretty fancy timer. built
Isn't
into
it?
GG
Yeah.
Animate.
Oh, hi, Jane.
You've got 19 seconds. Sorry that you have to go.
You're missing out on the race.
No, you're late.
Yeah.
Fair enough. If you want to cast your vote in terms of
Which core you think will win?
Yeah, so
I got
that is the order.
7.
So there's 8 cores. Let's
yeah, Jane, if you before you leave, if you want to send me a message about your ordering of who you think should win first, second, third,
So
fourth
many.
today,
yeah,
please send me a private message before you head off.
it's probably because I've made it 400 images that it's all right, here we go.
All right.
Here they are. Who do you think is gonna win?
And it just picked those dog images. I went
I
for
just
7,
went
so
for
I'm
7.
already
Oh,
out.
For 2.
Get 2, come on.
But I feel like
Oh, it's number
Clear
2.
winner.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go. So core 2 is the fastest core.
And is that the first? No, wait.
Incredible.
And is that just this time?
Yeah. you
That's
ran-
running
you
it, so
ran
is that
20
every time?
times. So is this running through them one by one? or
So
is
it's
it-
going like each step, it's kind of like each step has been smoothed over. But really,
So it's
if
like
it
an
was like
average.
just going the steps, it would go dunk, 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 dunk 20 times all the way to the end. So like times every core for one of the 20, it gets a time and that's how far it goes forward. That's like one step.
Right.
Does that
Hold
make
on,
sense?
hold
Right,
on.
so
One
it's-
more. I'm slow. One more time.
So-
Okay, go
So
again.
it goes once through each core.
Getting to 1,000,000.
Yeah, getting to
Yeah.
1,000,000, and then it takes one step based on how long it took each core,
Yes.
right? And that's how far it has gone.
Is
that time.
So when core 8
so time becomes
Yeah, I really should have called it time. Time, that's how long it takes, and then it just does that 20 times for each step.
so distance should actually say time.
It should.
So
I've
the
mislabeled.
core that is the fastest is actually the slowest because it's the most time, so it's covering the most distance.
Oh, you
Am I
make
wrong?
such a good point.
Okay, I was really scared I was
You
being
make,
really
you make,
useless.
you make such a good
So does
point.
that mean the Chihuahua is the winner?
Core 7,
Yeah,
core
either
7
3 or
core 3.
7.
You make such a good point. I didn't even think
I'm
of this.
so glad because I feel really stupid.
So that
here,
makes,
so
that
thanks.
makes core 2 the slowest,
Yes,
because it took the longest.
but based on what you're saying, that's what I think is happening.
Ah.
Yeah,
Nice
you're right.
pickup.
You're right. You're right.
So
Because
core
each
3
step-
is the winner.
Each step, there you go. So that was running this, but it's not an accurate estimation of how fast each
So-
core is.
So distance is kind of the average
it's
time it
not.
took.
Oh, but it is in this go. But every time they like
They
random,
differ.
so it's
So
actually
if
not.
you ran this whole thing again, it might be
That
different.
would be completely different.
Based on other stuff that's happening in the computer while that individual call's running.
Exactly,
potentially, and-
exactly.
Mechanically and like, but like mechanically is the wrong word. Are the cores exactly the same mechanically?
In the computer? I
Yes.
have no idea. Probably.
Yeah, okay, I'm just,
I would assume so. I don't know.
come on.
Yes,
They should be. I don't
should be.
imagine they'd be
Yeah.
different, but I mean,
Unless
they'd be-
there's a problem in the processor.
Okay.
so yeah. Anyway,
Well, there's 2
My
outright votes for
contribution.
you straight away.
but I have to say, you're right, Nick. I've learned a lot about R doing this. I
Yeah, I feel like you committed the most to the bit.
Yeah.
I think you both
I
committed
don't
pretty
know.
strongly to that.
I don't
That's,
know about
I don't
that.
know.
I reckon. Like I didn't know how to do functions in R. I didn't know how to. I didn't know anything.
well, this is Cameron's badge. Thank you, Cameron.
Thank you.
That was very impressive.
Yeah, that was awesome. Oh, no
Okay.
worries, Jane.
You asked for the direct message so that only
Yeah.
you could see it.
Yeah, and there it was. The draw will be logged in twice. Thank you for putting your vote through, Jane. You can head off now. You can stick around. We're gonna give out the prizes for the winners. And then we'll try to answer tomorrow's question, unless other people have questions to put in as well. We'll answer those questions too. No worries. Thanks for coming. And thanks for sticking around. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you next year. All right, so could everyone, again, had I the time, I would have created an R poll so that everyone could go to it right now and put in their votes. I've not done that, so we'll have to do it. And I'm not gonna be able to do it in 30 seconds like I did with the randomizer. Do you guys wanna comment in the chat? Do you wanna just raise hands? How do we wanna vote?
Should we put it on the headstock?
Yeah,
We do tally.
Great idea.
Everyone puts a little number, puts an I next to the person they
You're
want.
allowed to vote for yourself is the question.
Ah,
so I'm gonna go and put that just underneath attendees. So we'll go votes for
this is the RStudio.
all right, has everyone cast votes? Has anyone not put any votes in there? I think based on those numbers, Lauren is the winner.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 6 against 5. Yep. Well done, Lauren.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well done, Lauren.
I mean, it's a Rickroll. What else can you win?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm gonna would have liked to have the video happening, but never mind. And I will pin the video to show the handover of the UQRUG. All right, so Lauren, as the winner of the UQRUG Cool But Useless competition, wins the UQRUG Rug, which
Yay.
is a tea towel
I love that.
with cat fur on it. I hope you're not allergic to cats.
No, it's okay. I have a cat.
That's good.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's courtesy of my friend Alison, who has an embroidery machine.
Nice.
They are both really straightforward and really frustrating to use. So there you go. Thank you very much.
Well done, Mark. Very good.
Now, I had another prize and I wasn't quite sure how to hand out this prize. So because you won, I'll let you choose which prize you want. That prize or this mystery prize.
Is it a carrot in a box?
Yeah. Yeah. You
Um,
could play current and box.
but it's not gonna remain a mystery, but I'm gonna take it out and show you. What's in it. So I'm not gonna do that to you. It is a mug with the UQRUG logo on it.
The
That's
UQ
cool.
mug.
I kind of want the rug though.
A rug mug, yeah.
Really?
The rug.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense because your code was cool and fairly useless, but I think Cameron's was more useless than yours.
True.
I think your
Yeah.
code
You
was-
could definitely find a use for mine, probably like in
What,
some
for
way.
Rickroll someone? I think that makes sense. Like I found yours most impressive. Cameron's was very convoluted and cool.
Very convoluted
and
and
it's
useless.
very useless.
I
Whereas-
appreciate the commitment of him killing his computer though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I think Mick is
repeatedly.
the one who killed his computer.
I did that last time. It's easy to do, just overload things. And so Cameron will get the mug for the UQRUG mug, which is the coolest and most useless 2023.
Except it's not.
I think.
Oh, this is what you're saying. You think it is.
Shared with
I think
yeah.
yours
It's the
is
most useless.
like yours was the most impressive. I thought,
Thank you.
and I think it was a pretty close vote as well between the few people who are actually here. But I think yours was more useless.
Yeah,
So
true.
well done on like you made a GIF of your cores racing each other. You made a Rickroll thing. It's pretty good.
I know, it's brilliant, because the number of times you can go, I got an answer for you, here. It's going to display it musically.
Every rug from here on out,
Thank
I'll
you.
just like
Well
insert
done.
that.
I
on the
need
answer
a
section.
decently sized wet mug.
Love that.
Thank you so much, both of you, and to you too, David, for submitting, and thank you for everyone for coming along. Thanks for coming in person. This is not usually what we do at UQRUG. Usually it is somewhat silly, but potentially not this silly. I'm curious to know what you will do with that. Will you use it as a tea towel? Will you frame it? Do what you want with
I'll
it.
probably hang it on my wall. I have a lot of random stuff on my wall. Yeah.
Awesome. No, congratulations.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat said we should do this every year, and I think we will. Yeah, so Jocelyn asked if we could do this every year, and I'm absolutely down for that with a bit more notice and a bit more planning so that people can actually prepare things for next year. I think it'll either be November or December. I'm leaning towards November at this stage because we get a stronger turnout in November compared to December.
True.
So-
Everyone's at uni.
We'll have the November UQRUG can be the cool but useless or whatever we want it to be. I think cool but useless still works. We don't necessarily have to change the theme. I guess I'll put out a poll asking people what they want to do. I was tempted to call this Silly R, but there is a package called Silly R, which is not very silly. And I was a bit disappointed by that. It was like a text analysis. It was like some sort of text analysis thing that did something. It was a little bit silly, but not
silly enough.
silly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do cool but useless again next November.
Nice.
Cool.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It was
Thanks,
fun.
Nick.
That's cool. Thank you.
Alright. So now we have tomorrow's question.
Yeah, so that ends the fun part of today. No, that ends the competition part of today. Thank you again for your votes and for your submissions. Looks like we've just got the one question from Tamara, potentially something, maybe.
I'm just having, I'll get there.
Yeah,
It's not really an R question, it's a data issue.
That's okay.
it's all right.
That's worth asking. I'm not sold.
All right, so
Do this.
yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll go to your question, see if
My-
something comes
my-
of it. Okay, so Tamara has asked how to tell in her R model that she has repeated measures. So running like some sort of linear model. Do you want to tell us?
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
question?
it's a mixed linear model.
Sorry, because I have a crack in like 10 minutes. But
Oh.
thank you guys.
No, thank you, Lauren. I mean, thanks for submitting. We'll see you next year. So we will be having
Enjoy the
UQRUG in January.
Okay, cool.
End of January is easy to do. And we'll be back at the normal date and time.
See you guys.
For the break. See you. Thank you. My battery is just about to die. Okay, So I'm not super well versed with mixed models. And I feel like the stats person just walked out of the room. Do you have much experience with?
I did something 5 years ago, so I'm not in working memory at the moment.
Well, do you want to share? Do you have the code on your computer there,
Yeah.
Mark? Do you want to share your screen instead? If you're happy doing that.
Oh,
and have a
Did
look at
you
your code.
think that I can't share screens while, oh, I think because you were sharing, sorry. So just a little bit of background. So as you all can see, I have this data set. I have 85 days. So throughout my data set, and I have multiple parameters. Some days the parameter is not that's fine. What I am trying to do, I am trying to prove that the grazing percentage, it is affected by this variable.
Can you zoom in on that a little bit? Just Control plus a couple times.
Can you see now?
So I think that's better. Yep. Okay.
Can you all see?
Yep.
So I'll show that again. Sorry, I didn't know it was that small. So yeah, what I have this data set. I have 14 animals. I have 2 periods, and I have 85 days of repeated measure. And what I wanna tell I want to tell him that when he is analyzing this data set for me, I don't want him to consider the degree of freedom of all those observations, because that's what he's considering when you have a look on my output. And like when you have SAS, it is pretty straightforward. So you just can literally tell that the animal and the period, they are one experimental unit. So instead doing this degree of freedom for the whole data set, in SAS you can do that pretty straightforward, but it's not very clear how to do that in R using a mixed linear model. So my code is what? And when I do my coding, that's the output that I get. And so when my supervisor, he gets very close output. However, the degree of freedoms are all different. It's 26 because we have 14 animals and 14 animals as, so period 1 and period 2. And then we have 2 periods. So the reality is I would like to get this degree of freedom as a 26. So I don't know if anybody has come across that kind of query.
There's a way that you can set up if things are repeats or not, I'm pretty sure. But I'm just looking into that.
Yeah, is there not okay, I'm not sure I'm following. Is there not a way to structure the data set that becomes?
So I didn't get your question, I'm sorry.
Is period a variable that you have on the data frame?
Yeah,
Yeah, there it is.
so period is a variable, animal is a variable, and date is a variable. But that is a repeated measure. You know, so I've been.
You should send that to everyone rather than just me.
I didn't have ChatGPT's cheating.
It's not cheating, it's another tool. And we said that in your presentation before, it's fine. So David just put some stuff into ChatGPT to see if it had a useful answer.
Uh-huh.
But I can't read it. I don't know what it's saying.
So it's saying.
So it's including. Is it essentially is the problem that animal ID A246 with period 1 is being set as a different thing to A246 as period 2? And that's increasing the number of degrees of freedom.
How come? A246, period 1 and period 2, they are the same. And then if I do that, the degree of freedom gets like almost, a very little number. It doesn't consider what I guess, what I needed. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but that's what it looks like looking by the degree of freedom. So that's why I copy this so that I can keep working on my thing, because otherwise, well, all my analysis, they really change a lot. So when you have a look, this number all of a sudden really change it.
I'll give you the rest of what it said to me as well.
Fortunately, we don't have any statisticians here today. We have to learn how those mixed effects models work.
Yeah.
It's not the first time it's come up here.
Like that's exactly what you message. That's exactly what I found on that Staka forum. I don't know if you guys can see, but that's what I was recommending to do that. But that's just with, yeah.
I might talk to Valentina about this one, and see if we can also put you onto some people from the one of the learning advisors who can help with kind of stats and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be the best way to approach this one, and we'll share the results with everyone. Like we'll put what to do as the answer in the hedge doc, and probably send out the email next week just so that more people can get that answer.
Yeah, no, that sounds perfect. Thank you so much, Nick. Thanks so much, everyone.
Yeah. Sorry we couldn't help you more.
No, it's all good.
We definitely did have a previous rug where there were questions about these kind of things.
Yeah. No worries, then I will let you guys go, but thank you again so much, and thanks for sending me the link last minute. Like I did receive on my other email, but my other email, it's not as, it doesn't come up as quick as the staff email. Thank you again, guys.
No worries, thanks for coming.
Thank you, bye, have a lovely week ahead, bye.
Yeah,
I'm waving.
see you next year probably.
See you, bye.
Bye.
It's just us, no?
Yeah. Oh, we've had someone else just join in, Sebastian. I didn't see that you joined. Did you have any questions or anything, Sebastian? We're just about to wrap up. Like we absolutely can keep going, but
Go on. No.
just listening in. No worries. I think. Did you want to
No,
raise
I have-
or
I have-
talk it through?
I'm 100% sure that I have not been given the files I need. I was just, it's a fancy person, so I thought they would do it right.
Fair enough.
Oh, but I do have a question because maybe I can get the files myself. Very specific, very niche. You know the IUCN red list?
Mhm.
You know how they have distributions for every single animal?
Mhm.
Does anybody know if you can, if there's some kind of like, I want to call it an API, but I'm not sure if it's an API, like web access to that as opposed to downloading everything. I know you can download specific like marine mammals and but if there was some kind of online. Nope, very specific, no.
What are you wanting to get?
I want to get. I want to know how many species there are in every grid 10 by 10 kilometer grid cell of the Earth. Yeah, no, very niche, very specific. Also trying to find the threat layers. I know they exist, they just,
So you need to download everything then?
I think so.
Into 10 kilometer by 10 kilometer
Mhm.
grids. That is
I'm
a
gonna
lot
need
of
a
data.
big computer. I know, okay. I have old data. I have data from 5 years ago that's already in the right format. I just really didn't want to publish something that was that out of date. So I'm trying to update it, but it's turning into.
Where's it from?
UCN.
Sorry?
I
used
used
to
to
be
in
on.
red list. I know you can download like it just, and I know that they have. I know that that's just for academic purposes, and the reason it's not available is it's super useful for commercial purposes. But I'm just, it seems like a lot of effort to make everybody download and merge data sets when they could just be available, like, you know, all the protected areas of the world. You can just, I can't remember how to do it, but I have done it. You can just like connect it and it then updates. Yeah.
So you're wanting all of these downloaded, but in one go rather than.
And also birds, which it won't let you. I just want access to them to do the calculation. Once I have the numbers I need, then I don't need the actual data anymore. Anyway, that's
Have you reached out to
who should I reach out to?
someone there? I'm just saying that because like you'd be surprised at the sort of responses you have downloaded individual shape files. That might be what we're saying at the moment. I've downloaded individual shape files from IUCN and created global level species overlays of extent overlays. I have not found a bulk download option, just a case by case.
Yeah, see, I think if you want to bulk download, like it's not you're gonna have to do them individually, and every time you're gonna have to provide a rationale for why you need it for academic and research purposes. I'm sure there's a way through IBAT, which is the paid version, that you could probably do this all super easily. But anyway, I think she was meant to send me all that stuff and didn't, and I should be brave and ask her for it. Or I should just use the old data. But that's just.
Asking is good.
I know, I just feel quite dumb, so I was just trying to make sure that I didn't miss anything.
Wait, where did you get the old data from?
I got it from a ex-postdoc.
Where did where did they get it
They
from?
made it.
From?
I'm assuming this. Because, yeah, in the code, mammals and amphibians are separate, so I think they've done this and then merged it.
Just manually gone through, downloaded all of these polygons, merged them all together, and then
I
use that.
think they may have done the calculations. I'm really struggling to follow because I'm not good
And
enough at R.
Is each of these polygons a 10 by 10, isn't it?
No, so these would just be polygons. I don't know what their resolution, they wouldn't fall into, I would have to do this. And I've done this kind of stuff in ArcGIS. I've done this in model builders and ArcGIS. It would be a massive learning curve to figure out in art. Anyway, sorry, that's where I am. I'm just having a personal crisis as to whether I should use the old data or just ask.
I would vote for number one, asking the person, number two, asking this mob. And then number three, definitely not using your old data.
See, I so strongly agree, but my supervisor is recommending I use the old data because it's easy.
When do you need it done by?
I wanted to get it done by next year.
Like the start of next year or February, you know, or December?
Sorry, this is a personal crisis to whether to do the easy thing and get it done or do the hard thing and be happy, but then not have time to do the chapters I actually want to do. Anyway, never mind. Thank you.
Is it for your PhD?
Yeah.
The question you then have to be asking yourself is, could using the old data potentially impact your findings enough for people to go, nah, do it again?
I would just mean we couldn't publish in a fancy journal.
Is that all? Wouldn't stop your PhD-ness?
Oh, it's just a weird tackle chapter because I didn't know what I wanted to do and this was kind of exciting, but now I found what I actually want to do, so now I just need to get this out of the way.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
And I could drop it entirely, but it's an easy paper because it's a lot of it's done already.
Right.
Could you use the old data and then if you get the new data, simply update it, or is simply updated not really part of the
I
process?
think the creation of the new data,
That's the complicated.
I think that's what's going to be super computing power. I've done similar things with less complex data and it took like days to run. Anyway, sorry, personal crises.
If the complicated part is having to download all these and then merge them all together, and that's going to take up computing power. Is that the
Yeah.
main issue?
And then dividing that into grid cells so that I know per grid cells how I need a biodiversity value per grid cell.
Yeah. So have you used HPCs to do that
No,
at any
don't
point?
know what that is.
So at UQ, we've got the high performing computers.
Okay.
But that's another thing you'd have to learn to then be able to do that. So it's adding complication, but it's also a very useful skill, especially if you're going to be using spatial data of large amounts in the future, or any kind of data of a large amount in the future, where you can get connected to the high performance computers, run your code there, and it will do it significantly faster.
You said HPC.
Yes, so that's through the UQRCC, the Research Computing Center. They've got a couple different high performance computers you can get access to.
Okay, this is good to know it exists.
They
So I would can I do this in any program or software? Does this have to be like R or?
generally has to be command line based. Yeah, they used to have setups for running ArcGIS, but that's not currently the case for all sorts of reasons.
And if I can export my ArcGIS code as a Python script?
Presumably that sounds doable.
Yeah, then you just run the Python script from that.
That could, it would probably simplifies in some ways and complicates in others, but you always run into those sorts of things, but that sounds plausible. So every Tuesday, there's the UQ Hacky Hour.
Is it on next week?
Although
It
I say
wasn't
every
on-
Tuesday,
It wasn't on
but
yesterday.
it's currently break time, so I think it's
But I don't know when the next one is. Look, they're not in our calendar until the 30th of January.
14th of February, I think it says up the top there is the next
that
one.
was last year.
And that was last year.
30th of February in our
Um,
calendar, January.
Okay.
Oh, look at that, that's us. Yes, that's nice. That needs to change. That's fine.
Alright, no, thanks, it's just good to know these things exist.
But I have more things for you.
Oh.
So Happy Hour meets generally every Tuesday from 3 till 4. Again, not at the moment because it's end of year. But that's basically a drop-in session where you can ask all sorts of questions. It's like this,
Okay.
but not focused, it's everything focused.
Okay,
Very HPC leaning though. And the Research Computing Center also runs training in how to use the HPC. Oh, that's the button that I wanted. There it is, training. Rude.
Using it. Oh, that one.
On Zoom.
Well, Zoom doesn't count.
So there was a HPC training on Monday.
alright,
The next that was 2 days ago. The next one is on the 29th of January.
okay.
So there's a potential option there.
And you could always ask as well whether or not they record.
Look, I think these skills are gonna be transferable to
Absolutely.
the rest of my PhD, so I think I might as well take my supervisor's advice and do this easily and then learn these skills for the next lot of stuff. It's also spatial.
Yeah, if you're using big data or complex models, or both, HPC is used because instead of being like, okay, computer, don't die on me while you run for the next 3 days,
Yeah,
you use HPC and it doesn't take that much time. You just put it in and it runs.
okay,
when
but
it
you
comes
come
up.
with your code prepared and working.
Yeah.
And you've trialed it on a small section of
Yeah,
data.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no debugging.
I mean, that's what you should do. Not everyone does that, and then it doesn't work. So yes, that's absolutely what you should do.
Okay,
Okay, so building on top
Thank
of that. So that's the first thing. That's how you should probably run it when you do that. If you need more help with the R side of things, come along, be like, here's my R code that's not working, please help. Whatever that R code looks like. But to build on top of that, there's also the geospatial community. So
yes,
we need to change the branding because we are now geospatial share. We are now an incorporated not-for-profit.
oh, fancy. I
Yeah,
think I signed up for this. Would I get notifications next year when these things start again?
yeah, probably.
I
I
think
think
I
Christina
saw.
recently sent out an email.
Mm,
You know, if you just search for geospatial community Brisbane, this should come up. I'll put the link to
Is it
us
Christina with a K or a C?
with a C.
I don't know. Okay,
you
I'll
who-
do it again.
Under me. Anyway, if you want to join, you can just join
Cool.
the list there. You can also send an email to our Gmail account and can help you out there as well. Now, you can also contact us, the training team. So we're training at library.uq.edu.au. But the reason I'm pointing out the geospatial community is because they have drop-in help sessions like this,
Yeah.
but very geospatial focused.
Okay, yeah,
And we also have like the occasional event where there'll be, something like a workshop on large raster manipulation, or
cool,
creating inset maps using TMAP, or basics of RSpatial, which
cool.
could be
That
useful
sounds
too.
like what I need.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just transferring the GIS skills I have into code is daunting, but
It-
it needs to be done.
there's a lot of things. There's like that initial steep learning curve, but once you're over that, it's like, oh wow, things I can do. Yeah, so like for instance, if I go to Map Dash, this is a dashboard made using R. And so this is a little map that you can interact with. And making an interactive map like that in ArcGIS or QGIS is a little bit more frustrating.
Yeah.
And it's all fully
Very
interactable.
cool. What is this? What is it showing?
This is looking at GDP per capita
Okay.
and life expectancy. So you can see if we choose Australia, this one's Australia up here. This is where it sits in the life expectancy, GDP capita sort of thing. If we select a swath of things, it'll highlight all those there and highlight them on the map and highlight them over here. we just want to highlight
Very
these
cool.
ones. We can see that, lo and behold, the high socioeconomic ones.
So is this a shiny app?
No,
What is it?
this is a this is a few things. It's I think I'm using it's a Plotly, they're Plotly maps that you're using crosstalk to allow the things to interact with each other. And it's hosted on a Quattro website. So Quattro is one R package, and they're all different R packages. And the reason I use this instead of Shiny is because I don't need a Shiny server running. This is just a HTML file. So I could download this and send it to you, and you don't have to have R on your computer to run it.
Okay. That's some of it. No, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good.
So the UQRUG website that we have here is made using R, it's using Quattro. Quattro allows you to make document. It's like the new fancier R Markdown.
Okay.
Allows you to make websites. And then this is Plotly, allows you to make a variety of different interactive graphs. So it's got these different types of interactive graphs. You can, hello?
Hi.
You can attach Plotly to PG.
That's part of the cool and useless.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm very useless, but I'm learning.
And then crosstalk allows the different things to plug in together.
Okay.
This is like an extreme example of a thing, but the
Okay.
advantages that you get out of using R for mapping. But yeah, if
The
you have,
new version of Markdown was called what, one more time?
it's sort of a different thing. Quattro, QUARTRO. Quattro.
Okay.
We did a session on Quattro earlier this year. There's not a recording. I don't think there's a recording for it, but there is on this page here. You can go to the events. There it is.
Oh, nice. Okay, okay, no, cool. And this is really nice that you've got these things, because when I went back from ResBaz, I went to a few sessions. And then when I tried to use her link the next day, everything was gone.
Was that Christina's one?
I
The
can't
spatial
remember.
one?
Yeah.
Hmm. Was that the spatial session?
The last, I think it was the last.
You send us an email.
I don't know, I don't
I
know.
think there was someone up, but yeah.
You know how they had their own little websites showing there, and then when I try to go back.
I might dig into that and see what's going on there. If you want to email us,
Yeah, let me try. I don't know
Let us
where I
know
wrote it
what
all
the
down, but I
thing
was
is.
like, oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully between all those different things, you'll be able to find out. See
I have lots of ideas. Thank you.
that's it.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi. Hi.
Valentina walked in just to make us all jealous while she's eating her ice cream.
It's delightful.
Oh,
It's
that's
chocolate mint. Are you really jealous?
The
Considering
jealousy
what it is.
levels are high.
They are the, yeah, thank you. Okay, good. I mean,
Especially in Brisbane where it's hot all the time.
Well, I might let Sebastian go. Sebastian's the other person still online.
hi, Sebastian. Bye, Sebastian.
Thanks for sticking around. Hopefully, all of those different things that we just covered then was useful to you as well. But that's it for UQRUG today for this year. We will come back at the end of January. The 20, is it the 30th? 31st. I was close. Back on the 31st. Thanks for coming in. I don't know what the intro session is I don't know what the overview session is gonna be. I'll send out an email asking people if they want to do things. Otherwise, we'll come up with something by then.
For January. So.
Yes, for the overview. We've got a bunch of different things that people have asked for. But if people want to do things, reach out.
Spatial.
All right,
Sure,
spatial,
okay.
cool. Yep, spatial it is.
Requested.
I'll get a special guest to come in to talk about spatial stuff then. Brilliant.
It's been requested.
Okay,
and
okay,
fine.
We
Christina.
can just like use my day.
So can we analyze this?
I'll put you in and acknowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, well, I'll send out an email asking what people are after, but maybe we'll do spatial stuff. Cool. All right.
You have a new message and it's driving me insane. It's probably just
Yeah,
someone
that's
saying
Sebastian,
goodbye.
that's Brilliant. Well, we'll see you next year.
See you, Sebastian.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Happy
Maybe.
break.
Cool, yeah, thank you so much, that was really great. And it's just really nice that it's fun, because